Hi guys, this is a small video for the group. I'm just talking about this cotter pin that goes through the axle here, and I want to just let everyone know that it's important when you reassemble this to make sure this cotter pin is the right thickness. The thickness of this cotter pin should fill the hole perfectly. So the thickness across here should be the exact same thickness as the hole, and again it's almost an interference fit. You have to tap it through and it's a really nice tight fit through the hole. The cotter pin that I took out was this one, which was thinner. It's the next size down, it's the next thickness down, and this had allowed this nut to rock. And obviously you don't want that nut rocking. That wants to be exactly, at the point that you want it to be for the bearing adjustment to be smooth. And also the fact that the pin was allowed to rock, that's what had damaged the threads on this spindle. The rocking had allowed the cotter pin to keep bashing into the threads and it damaged the threads, again something you don't want. So yeah, make sure that it's the right size and it's a really nice tight fit. It should be tight through that hole, and I'm not sure which size this is because it's come out of a pack of cotter pins that I have, but it's a very nice fit. It's tight, it's a tight fit. You have to tap it through with a hammer and it's a really nice tight fit there, so there's no chance that that nut can move. That is in the position that it needs to be in for the bearing to move nicely, and it's not going to rock or move. So yeah, just wanted to point that out to everyone, because that's clearly been a problem with this truck where someone has fitted the wrong size cotter pin, and it's only a millimetre less than this one, or not even a millimetre less, but it just allowed that nut to wiggle over time, and yeah, that's not what you want. Okay, cheers. Here's another small video for you guys, just talking about bearing adjustment, how to adjust this the bearing tightness. This is something I've done in a lot of vehicles over the years, different vehicles with this type of setup and spindle. And the way I would recommend that you do it is that when you assemble it all, you tighten this nut up quite tight. You use a bar and you tighten it up, and that allows all of the bearings to settle properly into position, because when you will have put the races into the cases, they might not be sitting completely true, and by tightening this nut up tight, it allows everything to true itself, and then the bearings sit in the races nicely. So that makes everything true. You then want to completely loosen off this nut, completely loosen it off, and then spin your hub and make sure your bearings feel nice and all the rest of it. You then tighten this nut up, but very lightly. We're literally talking, so you do it with your fingers to finger tight, and as soon as you've got it to finger tight, that is all with your hand, that's it, you then want to move it slightly more to wherever it then matches up with the nearest hole. It's no tighter than that. This nut is not tight, it's loose. So you tighten everything up first, and that will pull all your bearings true, loosen the nut right off, and then literally finger tight with your hand, and it will end up sort of here, and then you just give it a tweak just so it lines up with the next notch in the castle nut, so you can put your cotter pin through. Any tighter than that, and you will wear your bearings out in no time at all. You'll do 1,000 kilometers and your bearings will be knackered. So that's the correct way to adjust that bearing, and this is why the cotter pin is here, and why the cotter pin is so important is because this nut is not tight. So that is what is securing it in its correct position and allowing the bearings to work. So I hope that's useful for anyone doing this job.